there only needs to be 2 children of school age trying to share a device, and of course one of them is instantly debarred from taking part in live lessons. But let's start by having a look at the legal situation. Well, of course, as long as schools remain closed and the temporary continuity direction of October 2020 remains in force, then schools are legally required to teach remotely. And for Key Stage 3, Key Stage 4 pupils, that remote learning is to be for 5 hours a day. When schools do finally open, exactly as happened at the end of the first lockdown, we're going to find pupils at a wide variety of stages in their learning, very often through no fault of their own. And then into that mix, there is, of course, the very important issue of staff workload, which has increased exponentially. Staff are trying to adapt work, set work online, sometimes teach it face-to-face for those children in school, teach it live, but also at the same time perhaps prepare hard copy materials for those pupils that have not got access to the internet. And that's in addition to the marking and the tracking, the assessing, the checking up on attendance. Very often, and it's to be applauded, they set very high standards for themselves. They have very high expectations, whereas what they need to concentrate on is, of course, the workable, the manageable, the doable. And finally, I think there are some schools that have not actually helped the situation. I could take you to a school which is insisting on the usual appraisal procedures. Another school is insisting that all heads of department completely revamp their schemes of work in line with a new curriculum philosophy. Nothing at all to do with remote learning. Now, both of those cases may well be in the school's long-term best interests, but in the short term, they suggest a complete lack of understanding of the pressures and the workload that staff are facing. So there we are. That's the context. That's the context in which schools find themselves. That's the easy bit to describe that. The big question is, what can we do about it? Quick points for school leaders. First of all, supporting teachers in delivering effective remote learning must be the priority. Everything else, appraisal, curriculum development, what have you, can wait. This needs to be the key priority to support teachers, to help them to deliver effective remote learning. If you want to set appraisal targets, set the same for all teachers. 1, effective remote learning. 2, planning for return to face-to-face teaching. 3, planning for a safe reopening. Do not increase teacher workload by doing things that are not essential, not immediate. Next, let's start planning now for a return to face-to-face teaching, and in particular, this issue of pupils being at all different levels of their development. Are there going to be consequences, repercussions for those pupils who have deliberately not engaged? What form is that going to take? And what about the pupils who, through no fault of their own, have fallen behind? What intervention work is there going to be? When is it going to be done? Who is going to do it? How is it going to work? Those are decisions that need to be thought about now. We need to concentrate on quality rather than quantity. We need to concentrate on what's manageable, what's doable. My second point, linked to that, is therefore, because of the difficulties with live and online learning, we should perhaps limit the number of live lessons to, say, 1 per subject per week or 1 per fortnight, and that those live lessons should concentrate on explanation, reinforcement and consolidation. But just remember that whenever you offer a live lesson, however good it may be, however engaging it may be, there will always be some pupils, for one reason or another, that cannot engage. Thirdly, I think we need to focus on learning rather than teaching. Setting pupils a series of questions to answer from a textbook is not an all singing, all dancing lesson, but in the circumstances, it may be the most effective way of getting them to learn and understand a topic. And of course, at the end of it, they will also have some hard materials, hard copy materials from which to revise. Fourthly, concentrate on the immediate and the near future. We don't know what's going to happen in 6 weeks, let alone 6 months. So plan a sequence of scaffolded developmental lessons, perhaps for the next 4 weeks, for the next half term, rather than the longer term. Fifthly, I think lessons should concentrate on consolidation, review, and moving forward slowly rather than galloping through the syllabus. Because if we do the latter, in a year's time, when we realise that the kids haven't understood the basics, there are going to be problems. And sixthly, let's not reinvent the wheel. There are plenty of resources out there on the Oak National Academy website, on BBC Bitesize. Use those materials. Don't create extra work for yourself. So there we are, ladies and gentlemen. But my basic message is concentrate on what is possible, what is manageable, what is doable, what is workable.